Hi there. Welcome back to the Creators MBA Show. My name is Dr. Destiny Kopp. Super excited that you are joining me here today. In the last episode, Kate and I dug into all the details about HobbyScool, where it came from, and somewhere in there, I mentioned that I only spend about 5 hours a week on it now. So in this episode, we're going to dig into all of those details. We're going to go through who's actually on the team, what each of them owns, how I manage people in completely different time zones. And there are some things that I do not hand out to anybody. And I want to say one thing up front because this is very important. I did not start at 5 hours a week. It took years of me digging into all of this, getting my hands dirty, working very long hours before I could step back this far. And I'd rather tell you that up front because I want you to know that this took me a lot of time to get here, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So you're going to love this episode. I cannot wait to dig into all of this with you, and we're going to get started now. All right, so thank you so much for joining me today. As we continue through this series, as you guys know, I have my special and dear friend, Kate, here with me. She's going to be walking us through and interviewing me about HobbyScool. So, Kate, before we get started, can you tell the good audience just a little bit more about you and how you help people?
Yes, I love it when you said it. My special friend. I am Destiny's special friend, Kate Kordsmeier. I'm the founder of Success with Soul. We help coaches, course creators, digital product sellers build high profit, low maintenance businesses without social media. And I'm really excited for this conversation today because me and team have a tumultuous relationship. I have been on the solopreneur side. I've been on the side where I've had 5 W-2 employees in my business and a $35,000 a month payroll that absolutely crushed me with the pressure. And I'm just excited to talk to Destiny because I think she's such a pro at running a team and doing it in a way that just feels a lot lighter and easier. So let's start, Destiny, with just what actually makes HobbyScool go. We talked about this in a previous episode, and I just am so blown away that it's not really you. You're the strategic orchestrator, but you've got your team that runs the business.
Yes. First of all, Kate, thanks, and loved your introduction there. So I'll go in a little bit more detail about HobbyScool. So I think I mentioned in the last episode that I'm personally spending about 5 hours a week in HobbyScool. I really do try to focus more on the strategic aspect and the more, here's where we're going, here's what we need to be doing. For instance, I built our 2027 schedule. I have our business model set up. I'm working on breaking out HobbyScool in a separate LLC and getting it ready to sell. So I like to focus more on those type of things, but it has taken me years, literally years to get to this point. And really setting up the processes and the procedures and everything that has allowed me to spend about 5 hours a week on HobbyScool.
I think it's important to say because so many times people listen to a podcast episode like this and they think you started at working 5 hours a week and outsourcing it. And it's, oh no, there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and your own manual labor that went into this before you got to the point where you could step away for 5 and work just 5 hours a week in the business.
Yeah, it definitely has taken me years to get to this point, and I'm happy to get to this because now I can focus more on my personal brand, which I need to focus more on that. There's been a lot of things that I have set up over the years. I've fired people, so I definitely have a team of people that are helping me with HobbyScool. We have a lot of processes and procedures. We have a full help desk set up. I have a lot of AI skills that I have set up that has really also helped me step away. And my teams are using those AI skills. So I walk you through some of the things or who I have on the team, what they're doing, and kind of the behind the scenes processes that I have set up. So I have somebody who works 6 hours a day. He helps us with recruiting speakers and contributors. Right now, he's working on HobbyScool, but he's also helping me with my Creators MBA event. So he works 6 hours a day. I have a customer support person who works full time, and she helps me with both of the customer support desks. So I have all of this set up in Help Scout. So she runs the HobbyScool support desk, and she also runs the Creators MBA help desk. I love having it set up in Help Scout because then I can go in and review responses that she has sent out to customers or clients or attendees of our events. I can go in there, and if I see something that may need a little bit of coaching, which happened just this morning, I can go in and say, okay, here's how we should have handled that. So she does that. She works full time in that. And she also helps me with some other things that come up here and there, like creating images, maybe working on the Shopify store, uploading blog posts. She can do things like that too. And then I have my virtual assistant, and she helps me with onboarding speakers. She also helps me with setting up all the pages for these events in HobbySchool. She's been primarily focused in HobbySchool, and that she does a lot there. So any emails or landing pages for any of the events, onboarding, I'm probably repeating myself there, but she's handling kind of the bulk of stuff there for HobbySchool.
Okay, so that sounds like you've got 3 team members then, is that right?
That is correct.
Yeah, okay. And what was the first one you hired, the first role you hired for?
So that was my assistant, and she has been with me from really the beginning, HobbySchool. So I knew if I was going to build HobbySchool up to where it needs to be, I needed somebody to help me. And she was the first hire. The person who is helping us with recruiting speakers, I hired him in January of this year. And the person who does all of the help desk support type stuff, I think she's been with me for maybe a year and a half.
Okay. And they're all remote contractors, right?
They all are remote contractors in the Philippines, all 3 of them.
Okay. So do you want to talk a little bit about why you chose to go that route and how you manage a remote team in a different country and time zone?
Yeah. So I basically allow them to work whenever they want. So they kind of select their own hours. The only thing I asked for the customer support person when we're doing an event that she works basically Eastern time, just because that's when the majority of our help tickets come in during an event. But other than that, I don't really care, quite frankly, when they work. Now, for my virtual assistant, we meet weekly for an hour, once a week. Other than that, I don't meet weekly with the others. They do like a start a day report. Here's what I'm working on. And then they do an end of day report. In that report, they basically list, here's what I worked on during the day. If they have any kind of outstanding kind of questions or things that didn't work or where they ran into roadblocks or issues, they put that in the report. So they do that report twice a day, start of the day and the end of the day. And all 3 of them do that.
So one of the struggles I've had managing my own team over the years has been the management piece that you just said. So having the support, then that takes like time out of my schedule where I have to review their reports. And how do you manage that? Like, what does that time commitment look like from you to kind of stay on top of those?
Yeah, just glance at them. And really, I'm looking at, are there any issues that came up or anything that needs my attention? So that doesn't really take up a lot of time. Where I run into issues, and this does stress me out a little bit, where I run into issues if I see something or run across something where I'm getting an escalation from like a client or a customer or an MD that needs my attention. And I'm like, okay, they might not have handled it the way they should have handled it. So then I need to go back and look at my kind of SOPs and my instructions, because we have SOPs for everything. We have an SOP course where I loaded a lot of videos in there also. So I need to make sure, okay, what didn't I do to make this clear to them? So I'm constantly thinking about that. The other thing I also ask them about is, and I try to emphasize this all the time, is when you're doing your work, think about the 1% improvement that you can make every single day to make this better. So If you're getting a question from an attendee or a client and you're like looking at it and, okay, do we need to go and update our landing page? I did this just this morning. I got a question from an attendee for our closed door events that's coming up in August. And I looked at her question. I'm like, we should have already answered this on the sales page. Why wasn't this answered? So I went back and looked at it. I'm like, it's missing. That's why she's asking the question. So just always think about when you get questions from people that come into the help desk or come into your email, think about why they're asking that question. Is there something that we should do in our documentation or our procedures to answer it so we don't get that question again?
Yeah, super smart. Going back to kind of the remote workers and versus like in-house, like what did you have to learn the hard way about what to keep in-house versus what to hand off?
You know, in terms of the remote workers, I'm always thinking about, okay, is this something that I should be doing? Like, is it a best use of my time, or should I hand that to somebody who's maybe in customer support or a virtual assistant, that sort of thing? And most of the things, I always try to say, okay, can I create a skill for this and hand it to them? And that's honestly what I did for a lot of the stuff that I'm doing is
Meaning a Claude skill, like an AI.
Yes, an AI skill, whether it's ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, is creating the AI skill. So I try to do it the first time and get it. And then I was like, I would hand it over to them. And I'm trying to think of specific examples, but one example might be we're moving, I should say, all of our summit pages from lead pages to our HobbyScool website. So what I did was I spent the time for the August event coming up. I did them myself, and I took all of the work that I had done and created Claude skills for that. So I handed those over to my VA. So the next event, she can do them. But I wanted to do them first myself because I wanted to make sure that they were set up the way I wanted them set up. So that's generally how I think and how I work is I do things myself first. And then once I get it right, if it's something I can hand over to them, I do that.
That makes a lot of sense and super smart to turn them into skills that can just be repeated. So it's an AI basically doing the work with human oversight and you get the best of both worlds. Is there anything you tried to outsource and then pulled back because it really did have to be you?
I would say that there's one thing I have not outsourced and I don't plan to outsource, and that is the live workshop content, get it done weeks that I'm doing in my own paid programs in my personal brand. That is really one thing that I'm like, I don't think I can outsource any of that. I don't know how I could do that. Other than that, I'm trying to outsource anything, Kate, everything else, Kate, to be honest with you. The other thing that I really haven't outsourced is writing the newsletters in my personal brand. I did outsource all the email content for my HobbyScool brand, but for my personal brand, I'm still doing those with the help of AI. But I'm still doing those because I'm like, she wouldn't even, things pop up in my head that she wouldn't know about.
Yeah. And I find, and I'm a self-proclaimed control freak, so I recognize that some of this is my own issue, but it's really hard when it's your face and name and signature at the end of those emails to truly delegate it to somebody else that it's not going to be exactly how you would do it. And that's hard.
Yeah. And to your point, in HobbyScool, it does have my name on it, but I'm just like, I don't care. Right.
Yeah. And the HobbyScool is not your personal brand. They're not really there for Destiny. They're there for the event.
Exactly. But in my personal brands,
like, they're there for you.
It's different, right?
Yeah.
I'm feeling that too.
Yeah. So you're building HobbyScool to run without you. It's basically doing that. Like, would you say HobbyScool is there now?
HobbyScool is definitely there now. There's no doubt about it. Now, when things come up, I do have to get involved. For instance, we're migrating our summit pages off of lead pages, putting them on our HobbyScool website. Obviously, I had to get involved in that. Nobody could have done that but me. But everything I'm doing in hobby school, as much as I possibly can, I am delegating it. Something's come up, like we got a sponsorship request yesterday, and obviously my VAs can't handle that. So I'm like, send them my scheduling link. I will talk to them. So there's things that come up like that, but I'm happy to get involved in those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why does that matter so much to you to really build this brand into something that can run without you?
I'm trying to sell it. And that's what investors want, right? They want something that they can basically hand over to a team that doesn't require them to be involved in it. And that's my goal. That's what I'm getting to. I think I'm really there. The only thing I need to do right now is just to build up the monthly profit to get it to where I want to sell it.
I think this is so smart. And we've talked about this so much behind the scenes too, that you have the hobby school. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but the $1 million experiment. And we've talked about that people can follow along to see, oh, this is interesting how Destiny is preparing this business to sell, what buyers are really looking for, what makes the business sellable, and those sorts of things. But I also think that even if you have no interest in ever selling a business, it would be so valuable to follow along because everybody wants to work less. Everybody wants to have more passive income, those sorts of things. And they're all the same. It's the same concept, just with different goals at the end, but it doesn't really change the process.
You're right. It's not changing the business model, right? If you want to work less in your business, this is how you do it. Even if you don't plan on selling it, this is the business model to follow for sure.
Yeah, exactly. If you did sell it, what would you miss?
For HobbyScool?
Yeah.
What I miss, I think the income's pretty sweet, right? The income that I'm getting in where I'm not really having to work for it directly. So that is something that I would miss. But honestly, this was always just like a side hustle project for me. It was never something that I intended to have forever and ever.
And I think it's, again, we talked about this in the former episode of just people are so concerned about having to love everything they do at work and monetizing their passion and everything. And some great things about that. But I think there's also something really nice about being more detached from the business. And just, this isn't the most precious baby I've ever had. That I really admire that. And it makes me think about, ooh, I wonder if I could just find a hole in the market and fill it. And it doesn't even have to be something that interests me. It's just business.
Yeah. To your point, Kate, I feel like I could sell it and go buy another domain and do the exact same thing. I know what I need to do to grow a business and get it there. And I feel like I could do that really in any niche. And honestly, I've been thinking about, so if anybody's listening, I think there's a huge market out there for teaching AI to the B2C market. I think has not been touched yet. If I had the energy right now, that's where I would go after.
Yeah.
And if I sell HobbyScool, I don't know, maybe I'll put some effort into building that up. But I know that you're looking at a few years there to build something like that up.
So to wrap us up here, knowing everything you know now, what would you tell yourself on the day you started HobbyScool?
I would say that I just be patient, right? You have to be patient. It's not going to get there overnight. I would have thought I would have gotten there a lot faster than what I did, but you just got to be patient. And there's been a lot of ups and downs over time. There still is. Just things come up. You get angry people. A lot of that stuff you just got to ignore. You got to have a thick skin as an entrepreneur, and with the volume that we're dealing with, just know that you're going to get some things that pop up that are probably going to make you angry or sad or whatever your reaction's going to be. And you kind of just got to let it go.
Yeah, that's such good advice. And I think it's good advice whether you're just starting your business, whether you've been doing this a long time. And I can echo the same thing. I'm an entrepreneur for 16 years now, and it still amazes me how much longer things take than you think they're going to take. And we say it's not going to happen overnight, but it's not even going to happen probably in the first 2 years. It takes years to really build super high profit businesses that can run without you, that can bring in good money that can replace salaries, other serious income. And I think people just see so much of the marketing around courses and passive income and make money while you sleep. And those things are true. Both of us do make money while we sleep now, but I did not do that in the first 6 months of my business. It's just, patience and persistence and just keep showing up.
Yeah, truly, I think it takes 3 to 5 years. So if I were going to go out and start talking about that AI B2C niche that we were just talking about, I would tell myself I'm probably not going to get to where I want it to be. It's going to probably take 4+ years is what I would tell myself. I do truly think it would take that long.
And of course, I want to be like, we could probably cut the timeline down because we've learned so much. But I would say minimum 2 years. And that's just to start really breaking even and getting things. Okay, the momentum is compounding now. The snowball effect is in full force. Maybe not even full force. It's just getting started. Like things are happening.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking 4 to 5 years to get it to where it could run without me with a substantial amount of income that I have coming in.
Yes, definitely.
HobbyScool.
Anything else you want to say about team and building a business like this, selling a business before we close?
I would say that if you're out there and you're like questioning yourself, can I hire somebody? Should I hire somebody? I would say that start small, maybe hiring a part-time VA, maybe 20 hours a week, test it out, start working with that particular individual, training them, seeing how that relationship goes. I think you will be surprised at how much more you will be able to get done in your business because you'll be able to focus more on the strategic things, the things that actually make money, and have them do some of the more daily type tasks. I think you'll be very surprised at how much you're able to scale what you're doing with just one part-time team member.
Yeah, I love that. Totally agree. Thanks, Destiny. This was super fun.
Thanks so much, Kate. Thanks for listening all the way to the end. I hope you enjoyed this episode today. If you loved the show, I'd appreciate a review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast platform. Have a great rest of your day, and bye for now.